It's Friday. It's the 5 p.m. drive home show with Wyatt. Where you at? Let's get it. Come on.
Gotta watch out, gotta get a rough neck. I need a dude with an attitude, only need his fingers with his food. Caulking out sagging, Timbo's dragging, frontin' in his ride with his homeboys bragging. Ryan brought the light, how he knocked the boots last night. But he's a roughneck, so that's side. Triple O, Ball D under the hood, making noise with the boys, something no good. C-Lo or the down low, cops came around, so roughneck front like he gotta go. Evil grin with a mouth full of gold teeth, starting beef is how he spells relief. Acting like he don't care, but all I gotta do is beep a 911 and he'll be there. Right by my side with his roughneck tactics, roughneck attitude, the roughneck bastard, roughneck bastard, roughneck bastard.
Where we at? Just you and I tonight, cuz. It's alright. I'm okay with that. I'll move you. It's Friday.
I need a man that's quick and swift to put out the slip and get stiff. Boxer shorts, everything is fitting large. But he ain't gotta be large to be in charge. Jumping in and out and out and in and here we go. He knows exactly how I want my flow and that's slow. Never questioning, can he get back wild? You gotta smack it, lick it, swallow it up style. I drink a beer, sitting in his chair, hands in his pants, fiddling with his tears. He's a rude boy, a ragamuff, ready to bag another brother that he ranks not rough enough. Cause if it ain't rough, it ain't right. And if he ain't right, well then he's all raw for the light. I love my roughneck and ain't nothing going down. I'm going up if my roughneck ain't in town.
Listen. Just you and I tonight. Let's have this conversation. Ooh, we gonna have a lot of tardy people in class this evening. What's good with everybody? What's good, cuz you and I? Let's just do it. I don't care. Hey, we can have this conversation alone. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Trust me. Listen, short show today. I know everybody can't wait. They don't want spoiler Wyatt coming in messing up their weekend by speaking some truth and shit. But this conversation has to be held today because it's the weekend and you know it's hot on these weekends. super hot in the weekend. And I don't mean just hot by the sun. I mean these hot ass weekends with these all this gunplay. Tons of gunplay going on in this country right now. Everybody act like that shit ain't happening. They want to act like it only happens occasionally. That's bull. You know, this is a pivotal moment. I'm going to have to repeat a lot of stuff because a lot of people haven't taken their seat in class yet. But unfortunately, I'm going to say it to those that understand how to get here. And, you know, some people driving home from work, some people ain't going to be bothered because they on their way to happy hour, get their drink and get out and go do what they do. They don't want to hear no shit like this. This is like the pastor messing up their weekend. Then they want to get right, straighten their wigs up and shit by Sunday morning. I understand. I ain't going to knock nobody. But I got some things I want to talk about that's fairly serious, and we're going to knock it out between 5 and 7. If I can get it all done between 5 and 6, let's just make it happen. But I think I need to let my people know something. I think my folks, my Wyatt-Live family, we really need to know something. Pardon me. We have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to things that are going on around you. Because it's just a matter of time before it finds you. You can't continue to just think, oh, they effed up over there. It's cool. It's as long as it's over there. No. That's not how things work. It's like a wave in the ocean. It's like a wave in the ocean. It could be 3 miles out. Eventually that wave will make it to the shore. Every wave that hit me down here in Florida, every time I'm sitting on the beach, I'm going to be honest with you. This is going to sound so crazy to some people, but I'm a water guy. I love the beach. I love being in the sand. I love swimming in the ocean. It's just unbelievable to me. But, you know, I have this mental thing. And the mental thing is this. I promise you, I'm going to do my own opening intro and all that. But let me share this moment while I'm there. I have this mental thing where when I'm sitting on the beach and I'm talking to myself in my mind, and I'm like, I wonder where that wave came from. I wonder what caused that wave. And I'm not talking about the big waves, you know, it don't have to be the big surf wave. It could be any wave. I always sit there and I'm like, I wonder where that wave, what caused that wave? Did a fish jump out the water and splat and make that wave come at me? What happened? I know, just a little piece of what I do when I'm at the beach. Good evening. Welcome to Wyatt-Live. I am Wyatt. I am special. I am essential. And so are you. We all are. What's good with everybody? What's happening, Wyatt-Live family? How we feeling this evening? It's Friday. Are you at the bar watching this? Are you at the bar right now like, shit, put this phone on there. I'm going to see what this thing talking about today. Is it happy hour for you right now at the bar and you just was like, I'm going to get a combination of some truth from Wyatt and some truth from my cup? I'm just curious because I can handle it. If that's the case, I can handle it. I can handle it. So let's say good evening to some people. Stephanie Hyde is in the building. She rings in. Let me see what I got here. Okay. Just want to make sure I got my thing right there. Stephanie Hyde drops in and she says, let me see, where's my chat? My chat not going up? Oh, there it is. I froze for a minute, y'all. I'm sorry about that. Stephanie Hyde says, to gain all the knowledge you have, be in class on time. Yeah, sound good to me. She said, I got a little man tonight, so I'll be in and out. Okay, we'll keep you posted on how it's going. She said, I hear you. Steven Speed, what up, Speed? Speed, drop in. Speed, like, what's happening? What's good, fam? Sorry about that, guys. Sandbox, Crystal Wilwright is in the building also. Good evening, Wyatt-Live family and friends. Let's get it. She didn't put the let's get it in there, but I know what she's saying. Stephanie Hyde saying, what's up to Sabrina? Sabrina, you still in Florida? Then you enjoying this sun today? Crystal's replying. She said, hey, sweetheart, Friday. Yeah. Not to me, but I believe she was saying that to, what is going on? Why am I freezing up like that? I'm not understanding why I'm freezing. Can you guys see me? My apologies. I'm freezing. I don't know what's up. Got a bad connect or what? But that's on my end, it looks like. Happy Friday, Wyatt-Live, what Sabrina Calloway said. Let's see here. What else we got? Hello there. Stephanie High's coming in again. She's saying, hey, Wyatt-Live family. There's Brenda Early. Brenda Early. Thank God it's Friday from Fairfield. You sure it's Friday? Or are you just taking my word for it? Just playing, Brenda. What's good with you, famo? I need that clear ocean water. Hawaii, here I come soon. That's right. I think you canceled a trip to Hawaii, didn't you, Crystal? Yeah, it's time to get that shit back popping. Go on, you and your daughter, before she go off to school. Get that popping. Listen, I'm going to be perfectly honest with y'all. Next week is going to be real tough for me. Starting Monday, I'm going to be on countdown next week. My daughter is moving into her new apartment up in Columbus, Ohio. And I'm heading back home, and we're going to move her into her new place next weekend. Not this weekend, but the following weekend. It's going to be a tough week for me. And when I say tough, I mean it. I'm going to hold it together. It's going to be some tears coming from your boy. Because when I moved her into a dorm, that just was like sending her to a camp. You know, summertime camp or some shit. I don't know. It just wasn't the same type of she gone feeling. I just knew she was gone for a minute. This feeling is going to be a little different. This is one of my children leaving the nest because my daughter can't wait to get into her apartment. She don't know what I know yet. She don't know how tough it is out here. But I understand why she wants to go do her own thing and have her and walk around her house the way she want to walk around her house. Because you can't walk around my house any old kind of way. Yeah, you can wear a bonnet in the house. That's what it's for, right? You can do certain things. But like, I raise my young ladies to make sure they respect their homes when people are around, such as walking out, even their dad, even me being in the house. You can't just walk out because you was in the shower and no, you respect me and that whole situation. So next week, starting Monday, I'm on countdown, guys, because I moved my daughter into her new apartment up in Columbus, Ohio on Sunday. And it's gonna be hurt. I'm gonna be hurt a little bit. It's gonna be some tears. It's gonna be a double. One eye, I promise you, this is how it works. Feel me on this. One eye will be sad. Those will be tears of, oh my God, my baby gone. Damn, oh my God, my baby is out of here. The years went by so fast. But then on the other side, these tears over here are going to be tears of joy. Get your ass out of here. I don't have to split the last anything with anybody. Daddy, you going to eat that last cookie? Damn, baby, we can split it. I've been splitting cookies and cupcakes and the last piece of cake and everything with my baby for 20 years. And I'm going to lose that. I'm going to lose my baby to the world. And that's going to be tough for me. And I'm going to share that experience for those that want to hear it or who care to hear it. It's going to be tough for this guy here. But we're going to do it. We're going to do it. But anyway, let's get to it. Hey, Mildred, she's in the building. She said, happy Friday, everyone. What's good, Mildred? Stephanie High says, yes. Black Russia's in the building. He says, let's get it. It's all truth, but hard for some to hear. You better believe it. Sabrina Calloway says, I'm still here baking in the sun. Crystal Wilwright says, you're not freezing. Oh, okay. I was freezing on my screen here, guys. I'm sorry about that if I was giving out false information. Brenda, she's in here with some eyes that says, I love it. Tiffany Daniels chimes in. She says, oh, cherish the moment. Cherish the moment. Which one? Her getting her ass out of here or this last week? Which one should I cherish? I've had 20 years of cherishing. I'm telling you, it's bittersweet. One eye will be crying, Tiff, of I'm losing my baby. But I promise you, that other eye is crying joy. Hot diminy damn. 12 cookies mean 12 cookies, Dad. That mean I can eat all 12. I ain't splitting shit. Not the last one. Crystal says, Mia is moving August the 3rd. We'll cry together, sis. We're going to have to cry together. I'm going to have to come get you, and we just going to have to hug it out and say, our baby is gone. Our baby is gone. All right. Stephanie Hyde said, I feel that's your baby and will always be, will be forever. Let the tears flow, Dad. For sure. I ain't never too hard for my babies now. Don't ever think that I won't. Shit, I cried on Wyatt-Live before. I'm just an emotional dude. Call it soft, call it whatever you want to call it. Maybe that's why I wasn't like Mr. Popular growing up or some old shit, because I let my feelings be known, whether it was some shit I wasn't feeling from you, or if I fell in the middle of the street and I was embarrassed, damn it, I ran and cried. Yeah, I did. I ain't too big to admit. Not even when I was a little dude. I was always one of those that be like, so what? Yeah, I stink today. I ain't take no bath. So what? So you don't either every day. I was little. I didn't give a shit. I was a little dude. You know how you run outside? One thing I wouldn't do was lie to my mama. I would never lie to my grandmother. That's for damn sure. My grandmother say, Randy, did you brush your teeth? You know how when you wake up and you already know everybody about to be outside. Because that's all we did back in the day. Back in the day, we hung outside. There was no PlayStations, Nintendos, none of that shit. Your PlayStation and Nintendos and all that shit was right outside. You had it was virtual reality. It was real shit. You was really playing Madden. You was really playing football. You was really playing everything that you baseball, slam ball, killer man. All that shit was real back in the day. We felt every pain of all of it. We felt it all. Killer Man, shit. Throw the ball up. Everybody remember Killer Man. Even the girls used to watch us play Killer Man. Fake ass cheerleaders over there. Go sit y'all asses down. Y'all ain't cheering for nobody. You want to cheer for him because Pretty Ricky is slick today. Like, you don't even know the game. Go sit your ass down. I'm just playing, sis, because there's some of y'all that was cheerleading. Crystal. Crystal. Kevin B in the building. What's good, famo? It's Friday. Listen, let me be the first to say this. I know we're going to be short today. We're going to be short with the show. We're going to be short with our audience. We're going to be short with everything because today, isn't there a concert or some shit in Cincinnati? You know Negroes ain't about to come in here and be informed. Y'all can't wait to go get entertained by some of these dudes blowing them horns and flutes and shit, Kenny G's and SWVs and all this old shit. Y'all can't wait. Been locked in with COVID. Mildred Johnson said, make sure you get your key. Mildred, let me explain something to you, sis. I'm so far ahead of the game. I'm so far ahead of the game. They don't, at this building that my daughter is staying in. Now, I'm telling y'all, I put her in Fort Knox. I put her in like this high security. Listen, if some shit jump off there, it's all an inside job. It's all an inside job if it jumps off up there. Because she's at Fort Knox up in Ohio State. She is in an apartment complex where you need a freaking badge to get in the gate. And once you get to the apartments, she don't have a key. It's all key coded. You need a 4-digit code. I think it's 4 digits. You get the picture. Doop, 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 doop. I got the code. Doop, 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 doop. I will be there. And I might not tell you when I'm coming. Hey, Pouncy's in the building. Good evening, everyone. Pouncy says. Let's see who else is here. Like Russia saying, what's up to Tiffany Daniels? Tiffany Daniels replying to some folks. Mildred says, us Sagittarius are emotional. Are we now? because I have other Sagittarius. Here's the crazy thing that's going on in my household. What are people that are born in April? My youngest daughter is born April 29th, but everybody else is born in November, the end of November or December. We have 4 people in the household. 3 of us are Sagittarius. And my youngest daughter is, I'm not quite sure what it is when you're born in April. She's April the 29th. Somebody tell me what that is. April 29th, all you astrologists and people that read the books to get lottery numbers and shit. There's one right there. Tiffany Daniels popped it in so fast. She said Taurus. Okay. Okay, what's the lottery number for Taurus? I bet you know that one too. Oh, y'all putting it in there. Tiffany dropped it in. Stephen Speed actually was the first one, so you know he a lottery player. You can't say shit to people that know that type of stuff. Like, hey, man, you know what? It's crazy as hell. I opened my back window this morning, and I seen rabbits. This is my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law will come stay at the house, right? You can't say shit. I mean, she can't hear me, can she? You can't say shit about... She's a lottery player, right? No, I'm not tripping, but she played a lottery. So every time some shit jump off, like there was 3 rabbits in my backyard. Oh Lord, rabbits. Let me see what that is. 475. Let me play that shit. Give me 475 3 ways. Combo that shit. I mean, am I the only one? She gonna kill me if she watch this shit. Anybody in my family see this when they gonna fucking blast my ass for that. Cause this is one of them things that we all laugh at, but nobody say anything. We don't say shit, cause that is grandma. You know what I mean? Shit. Grandma says shit. 475. Give me a 475 combo. That's 3 rabbits in the backyard. Oh shit. So I'm sure everybody who knew that this was a Taurus, my daughter, y'all probably know to play what numbers to play with rabbits. Now, I got one for you. I wish I would have saved the picture so I could put it on the screen. Y'all ain't gonna believe this shit. Like, the one thing I hate about Florida, let me just be honest with you, are fucking Grecos and them lizards. That's where I draw the line. But I had to make my decision between the Grecos and them lizards and shit versus the cicadas this year. I chose the lizards and the Grecos and shit. I don't want them lizards. I mean, I didn't want the I didn't want those cicadas all in my car. You know how the vents and shit. I just didn't want that. I didn't want that at all. And I don't like them things hitting you all hard and that shit is crazy, man. The only people that like that shit are squares. People that used to play with them when they was kids. You know, the kid that you had in the neighborhood. Everybody had a kid in the neighborhood. I think I might have been that kid one time where you seen them outside playing with bugs and shit. Insects. They had the bees fighting the ants. They did that shit in the Faye. We ain't do that downtown, but in the Faye, it was a couple dudes that used to play bees and ants. It's weirdo shit. Just weirdo shit. And if you one of those, I'm sorry, but you was a weirdo. Fucking bees versus the ants? What the fuck? What y'all doing, yo? You can't got some army men or some army men or something to play with? You playing bees versus ants? We all know them ants will kick them bees' ass. We all know them ants ain't nothing to be played with. Shit, they call somebody. They call their cousins. Them ants about to rip some shit up. All right, enough of that. Listen, yeah, you already know, Sabrina. She said the lizards everywhere. Here like ants. Yes, they are. Listen, I came out this morning. I'm going to show you the picture. I can't do it now, but I'm going to put it on my Facebook page. I promise on everything I love. There was a Greco. There was one of them lizards. This motherfucker looked like it should have been in the zoo. It was that big. It looked like some shit that's been fighting alligators. I promise on everything I love, it was bigger than my table that I have here. I can't even extend. Okay. It was probably at least 2.5 feet long, and it was thick. And I'm like, that ain't no regular little bitty ass, one of the little ones. This shit looked like it'd eat something. It looked like a dinosaur, just a miniature dinosaur. And guess where it was? It was right at my swimming pool. I'm gonna take a picture of it. I took a picture of it. I'm gonna put the picture on the screen on my Facebook page, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna give you a capture on it. It's crazy how big them things are. It's right at the pool. I'm like, shit, if this is a hold up, you got it, bro. If you here to stick me up, it's all yours. Everything. Take the shit. Just leave me the fuck alone. Go the other way or take what I got. You got it. It's a stick up. You got it. Take my shit. I don't care. But I'm going to show you a picture of it on my Facebook page, all right? Because I took a picture. Look, I've seen a million of them. But this one was so big. The only one I've ever seen this big is when we went to Cozumel, Mexico on a cruise. And when I got there, we seen them in the park. And I'm like, I didn't know these things got that big. They look like they growing these things and just got them for display, sitting out, you know, just sitting out. Like they feed them, like they part of this attraction. Well, I found one this morning in the backyard sitting there. I'm like, oh shit, I guess it's time to move. It's time to move because he could take what I got. Like if he really said stick him up, he can have this shit. I'm not battling him. He's too damn big. All right, well, listen, let me ask you guys something. Real business right now. Real business right now. Before we get to topic. Did anybody see? Y'all know that Dr. Dre was going through a divorce with his wife. They've been married like 25 years or some shit like that. 24, 25 years. And you know, Dr. Dre hit a lick with the beats. And he came up a billionaire. You know, his management group, his guys, used him to, you know, promote the Beats by Dre. And he ended up being a billionaire off of the purchase. And my question to you is, she has a settlement, you know, with her husband. Well, he's worth $1 billion. They are worth $1 billion. But on the split up, on the divorce, she was entitled to alimony up until she marries again. Now, ladies, let me ask you this first before I get into the controversy questions. She's getting $3 million a year, somewhere in that area. Would you ever get married again? Is this challenging your motherfucking love? Because if I know you, if I met Dre's wife and I wasn't married and all that, and it was like, hey, we was kicking and liking each other, and I didn't know she was Dre's wife. I didn't know it. And I found out, hey, baby, you know, I got my own money, baby. You know, I'm cool. I'm cool. I got my money. You got your money, baby, whatever. By the way, what do you do? Well, I used to be married to Andre. Okay. Andre still alive? Andre who? Dr. Dre Andre. Oh. You getting $3 million a year? You getting $3 million a year? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. My question, ladies, is now, let me ask you. Let me ask you, how much do you really, really love someone? Would you love me enough to give up your $3 million a year? Would you love me that much? Would you love a man that much to give up $3 million a year? Huh? Crystal come back. She said, I wouldn't marry again. Hell no. Who is that? Hell no. Stephanie High said, hell no. Mildred said, I wouldn't. I know. Who would? Who would? Shit. Baby, I would convince you not to marry me. Shit, baby, that's $3 million we got on the books. I love you. You love me. Here, give me that ring. Here, we marry. In God's eyes, your eyes, my eyes, God's eyes, we don't need no church. We don't need nothing. Our names ain't got to be the same. I'll be Dr. Fred. instead of Dr. Dre. I'll be Dr. Hot. Whatever you need me to be, baby. You just keep your funds going. You do what you do, I'll do me. But we married mentally. What did they call that? Common law marriage and shit? You better make sure you don't live in a state where common law marriage can kick in and then your money get forfeited. Because now you in a common law marriage. So y'all bills is I don't want no address with you, baby. I don't want none of that. We're going to go get this efficiency, put it in my name, and that's where I live. Send all my mail right over there. My mail go right over to that apartment over there. It got a stove and a refrigerator, and the shit ain't even plugged up. But I don't want common law marriage. Don't do nothing. Don't put us in the same apartment. Damn it. We got to have separate cars. We got to have separate everything. I don't want nothing to do with you when it come down to paperwork. Because that shit might mean something one day. But $3 million a year on some free shit, like, I mean, granted, she deserves it. Okay, you get mad at me, fellas, if you want to, because I know how it is to be like, but she ain't do shit. She wasn't in the studio. She wasn't shooting the jumpers. What Rick Ross say? Was she in the yard shooting jumpers or whatever the lyric is? No, but she gave that man 25 years of her life. Now, she did have a child before she met him. That child ain't got shit to do with what they got going on. Nothing. Nothing. But I will say this. She sat back. He made $1 billion over their career together, over their life together. I personally believe she's entitled to something. Matter of fact, if I'm her, I know what $3 million sound like to us because we ordinary folks. I'd be bitching. I'd be firing my attorney right now. $3 million a year? $3 million a year? Are you crazy? $3 million a year and he's worth $1 billion? Do you know how much? Do you know what I had to go through to live with him? Do you know how many groupies chased him? Do you know that Eazy-E died of AIDS? Do you know I had to sleep with that thought? Do you know? Did y'all see the movie? Yes. Yes, drop. I am taking calls today. Let me get on topic. Let me get on topic, and I'm gonna fire it up here in a hot second. My apologies, bro. I was just waiting for people to come in, and I got off on one of my tantrums of talking some shit. So give me a couple seconds. Soon as I get on topic, bro, and it's right down your alley. It is right down your alley, drop. I promise you. I promise you. My topic of the day, y'all seen it on my Facebook page. You seen it on the Wyatt-Live page, and it is stop blaming crime on guns. Start blaming the people that's using the guns and those guys and girls who are pulling the trigger. It's them. It's them. It's not the guns. It's not the guns. More people own guns in America and using them responsibly. Most people in America who own guns don't even use them. Most of them are locked up somewhere and probably need to be wiped down. Probably need to be polished and cleaned. They're probably not even in the right condition right now because they just sitting there for protection. But this reminds me of shit like when I played sports. When I played ball, you always had somebody on the team that just couldn't get shit right. You know, Mr. Can't get right. And every time he can't do the play the right way or whatever, the ball is hit to him and it goes through his legs or whatever in baseball. And that one person always got to make it tough on everybody. You hit the ball, it go through his legs. The coach said, did y'all see that shit? Did y'all see that shit? Everybody get on the bases, we running. What the fuck? I've been catching the ball, coach. Why I gotta run? This dumb. Don't put him out there, coach, if he gonna make us run. I'm tired of being punished for what other people are doing. So I say to you, punish those that are making the problems happen. Punish those that are out here shooting and all that. Yes, but don't punish the people who do the same thing with the guns and they doing it the right way. That's ridiculous to me. I ain't on topic yet, but I thought I'd just get warmed up a little bit. So sisters, let me ask y'all something. All my sisters, everybody, black, purple, green, blue, white, yellow, orange, some of you orange. Would you ever marry again if you was getting $3 million? Would you tell a man that you was dating, like, listen, baby, we cool. We ain't gonna never get married though. I'm not fucking this money up. Okay, because I don't know if you and I gonna make it. Now, can you make sure that, okay, if we go 5 years, if you and I go 5 years after you get married to me, are you gonna be, am I gonna get that $3 million off of you? I wouldn't mess the money up. I wouldn't mess the money up. All right, so listen, the next thing, I don't know, I guess people will hit me on my DM about that one. I guess people will hit me up on my DM about that one. Let's get in the topic, man, because I don't have all day. I know y'all waiting to get to those concerts. I'm not going to no concerts right now because of the gunplay. The only concert I go to is, damn it, some artists that's half dead. They got to be at least 70 years old right now, like Earth, Wind, and Fire. They got to be damn near buried. They need stools. If they still up there dancing and shit, I'm not going. They're too young. I need Earth, Wind, and Fire. You know, I need the old groups. Because if any young people can come, cancel me. It's all about that gunplay and gun violence. Let me tell you why I did this. That's right, Isley Brothers. The reason why I started the show tonight with Roughneck by MC Lyte is because the reason why so much gunplay and all that shit is going on right now is because of women. Y'all to blame. I blame women for everything. Because the only reason why guys are roughnecks is because y'all like roughnecks. The only reason why bad boys exist is because women like bad boys. If y'all made a man be a man, he would never have to be a roughneck. But I hear some of y'all sisters, even when I was growing up, oh, no, I want Lil Ricky. Lil Ricky like to break into cars. Really? Yeah, Lil Ricky slick. I like them bad boys. Let me ask you, ladies. Get mad if you want to. I know it's only a few of you. Just let me ask you. Did you end up staying with that bad boy, or did he leave you with something? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Oh, no. I can put all of y'all. I'm putting all of y'all in the same bucket. If you didn't mess with them, this don't go for you, right? I ain't talking to everybody all the time. But there's some people that know what I'm talking about. I play Roughneck for a reason. The lyrics tell it all. I want a roughneck. I want a man that tickles his with his hands in his hair and all that old shit, and roughneck. I want it to be 95 outside, 95 degrees outside, and he got on Tim's. You want a roughneck? Okay. Crystal Real Right said, I'm guilty. Can we do one thing though, folks? Can we stop blaming guns on what's going on in our community? Is it really the guns? Is that an easy out for politicians? Is that an easy thing? Or is it something that we just don't like to talk about? The real remedy. I mean, the real problem. The real problem. The real problem aren't guns. I can make you one promise right now. If there wasn't a gun out here, I'm not talking about legal gun, illegal gun. I'm talking about guns, period. Do you really think that'll stop the people that want to do massive killing? Do you really think that the dude that's going to blow up, that's going to shoot Walmart up, do you think that if he didn't have a gun, he still wouldn't go attempt to maybe blow it up? Yeah, okay, I don't have no gun. I don't have guns, but I'm gonna go in aisle 7 and I'm gonna blow this shit up. So is it really the method of how you carry out the crime? Do you blame the method? like shooting, blowing up grenade. I mean, you know, you don't even have to buy grenades and shit. There's homemade bombs. So what are you going to stop doing? Selling Ajax? Selling bomb making material? Go to Home Depot and take shit off the shelf? Tell them, y'all can't sell this shit. It's used for making bombs. So if there's no guns, these same criminals that want to do massive killings will find a different way to do it, right? And so would criminals that go in and rob and steal from each other. So how is it the gun's fault? You mean to tell me that you raised a son, and because somebody came and gave him a gun in his hand, because that person who put a gun in your son's hand had accessibility to a gun, that's what made your son feel like I can be a gangster now because somebody just gave me a gun? That didn't happen to me. Somebody handed me a gun at a young age and I was like, shit, what I'm gonna do with this? It might have been a little fascinating. I might have looked at it and was like, oh shit, yeah, this is some real shit. It's heavy, it's got bullets. But did it make me a gangster? Did it make me want to go shoot somebody to see if it really worked? No. That's a mentality. I think I was raised where I didn't need to have that type of, you know, that insecurity wasn't in me to make sure that I was the big man on campus, the big dude. It didn't take a gun for me to be in that place. So why are we blaming guns and accessibility to guns? Why? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. When in fact, the majority of the guns that are owned by Americans are being held and used properly. Once again, the ball is hit to the player on the field. He bobbles the ball, and now we all got to run laps because of what one or two bad people are doing. Why do you penalize an entire nation? Because of a small percentile of people. Why would we do that? I don't get it. I don't understand. And here's the thing. That's just an easy answer from your president. Oh, well, we got to take automatic weapons off the street. Why does a handgun, this dude said it in the town meeting the other day. It was the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life. He said they got 9mm with these big clips that shoot 100 rounds. I ain't never heard no shit like that. I've never seen a 9mm that has a clip that shoots 100 rounds. He was just making up shit and saying it as presidential and as confident. And I'm like, bro, you saying some shit that don't even exist. And ain't nobody checking you on this show. Ain't nobody checking you on stage. Ain't no Secret Service ain't saying shit to you. Mr. President, change that to a AK-47 or something, sir. They don't make 9mm with, sir, I'm sorry. Sir, they don't make 9mm with 100 clip rounds. That don't exist, sir. Secret Service, somebody should have checked his ass on that. So why are we blaming guns for what people do? If somebody drinks and drive, gets into a Ford Mustang, drop the top, they didn't have way too much to drink, do we go back and sue Ford because of somebody's irresponsible behavior with a car they knew not to drink and drive? What does Ford have to do with that? Ford could put breathalyzers on all their cars. Ford could say, hey, we have this car that we have produced and it has breathalyzers. It is a must whenever you go into a damn bar and you have drinks, you have to blow in this breathalyzer. It's our preventative measurements of proper driving while drinking. Sound dumb as hell, don't it? I know. But we never really want to talk about the accountability of the people that are using the guns. My woke folks blame everything other than the individual. And then when the massive individuals continue with this behavior, then it's crickets from the woke. They find everything in the world to talk about. Do you know that they got checkers this year in the Olympics? Checkers in the Olympics, bro. Did you see the fighting and the violence in D.C. this last night? Did you know they were shooting outside the stadium the other night? You know, we talking about black people. We love black people, but we don't like talking about black people. We like defending black people, but we don't like talking about it. Well, I got something to say about it. I got a video I want you to see. Last night, it wasn't even during the night. Here's what I want y'all to understand. In the city of Cincinnati, here's what irks me. This is what really gets on my nerve. We all want to attack the prosecutor or whoever's in charge of saying, or who steps up to say, crime won't be tolerated. To be honest with y'all, in Cincinnati, let me be honest with you. You really should be mad at your chief of police if he's not stepping up saying what the local prosecutor is saying right now. 1 second drop. You really should be scared. You should really be angry at the man or woman, whoever running your police department. You should really be angry at them when they're not saying what the prosecutor is saying right now. If your prosecutor is hard on crime and stepping up and saying that, don't be mad at that prosecutor. Be mad at the people that's supposed to be arresting the people that's doing the crime. Let's take a phone call. This is Wyatt.
What up, Wyatt-Live? How
What's
you doing,
good,
sir?
Drop? What's happening with you in California?
This is your West Coast connection, and I've been waiting for this opportunity. First, I would like to welcome you to the Black Not Democrat podcast, hosted by me, Drop Squad 52.
Thank you.
You are now a guest on my show, Mr. Wyatt,
Oh,
while
wow.
I'm a caller on your show, Mr. Wyatt.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
dope.
you hear the applause.
That's dope. That's dope. I like that.
Right. So I want to ask you a question because I already told my audience that I was going to be joining you and we were going to talk about this particular topic.
Okay. All right.
And before we get started, can you please just tell my listeners to my podcast a little bit about Wyatt-Live and what you do on your podcast?
Okay, sure. Let's get to it. Hey, listen, Wyatt-Live family, we're going to join in. All right, we're going to make this thing happen, and we're going to do an extended show. We're out in California right now. So listen, this is what I want to do. I want Drop asked me to explain who we are over here at Wyatt-Live. We're a family based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. And we talk about current events. We talk about preventative measurements. We talk about things that we really want to see happen in our community. We talk about the other thing, you know, we kind of a counter solution to some of the other type of folks that have, remedies for the problem. I just started out the show by talking about gun violence. You'll know where I'm coming from when I say that guns are not the cause of our problem. It's the people that have the guns and who pull the triggers. These guns are not, they're not accidentally firing and running down the street hitting 6-year-olds. They're not doing that.
Right. So would you consider yourself a political podcast or a variety type cultural, what's going on in the streets and in entertainment? Would you be that type of podcast? Or if you could, compare yourself to somebody else that's out there?
Ooh, that's tough, man, because I'm going to be honest with you.
You stand alone, right, Wyatt?
Yeah. I really think, I don't know. I mean, because I don't watch a lot of stuff. Like, I watch and listen to some local stuff, but that's only to get the energy right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I feel you.
So if I mention some of these podcasts that are local, I don't know if your audience would know them. The Cincinnati audience would know them, but I'm not sure if your audience would know them. But people here in Cincinnati know what I'm talking about. And to be honest with you, Drop, I'm not trying to be a hater on the situation, but they don't ever mention me, so I'm not gonna mention them because I don't want it to be one of them situations where they feel like I'm shooting shade or I'm attacking or something like that. Because, like I said, I get my energy off of those guys. I mean,
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, okay, so because you're on Facebook Live,
Uh-huh.
and I already told you I am not live. I am actually recording my show because I am on the Anchor FM podcast, and they distribute my podcast to Spotify, Apple, Google. So even though you're only on Facebook, this episode of you on my of this episode of you being my guest, anyone listening, they'll hear it, but they don't have to go to Facebook to hear Wyatt-Live.
Okay.
So hopefully we can do this again in the future because, hey, I'm new at this too, my brother. And one day I'll tell you, when I'm a guest on your show, I'll tell you the origin of Drop Squad 52. So,
right.
now, back. Thank you for indulging my audience. So now let's go back to the reason I called in.
Okay.
On your topic of guns don't kill people, people kill people. Because right now, Joe Biden is probably thinking like this.
You'll put y'all back in chain.
Because Joe Biden, he's the architect of the 1994 crime bill. And the reason the 1994 crime bill happened was because of some of the exact same things that are happening now. Now, out here in California, they were the first to get the no cash bail.
Right.
Because they went to the Supreme Court and they won.
Right.
Okay. But they had to write new legislation on how they was going to use this in conjunction with electronic monitoring. Then guess what happened? Wyatt-Live, COVID-19 struck.
Right.
So I was listening to your show, and I don't know if you mentioned the DC police chief.
Not yet, but go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so I ain't gonna say nothing on that. But there are people, the police chiefs in these cities and states where they've implemented these new laws, which were just done last year.
Yep.
So because of COVID, they were releasing people that shouldn't have been released based on these new laws, because the new laws clearly stated these people were non-violent, no flight risk individuals. They knew they were going to show up.
Okay.
So because of COVID, they start releasing people. So now we have all this violence on the street. And like you said, you're not a political show, but this is politics, because now that babies are getting killed, and because I remember why I hear you talk about it the few times I listened to your show. You talk about what it was like back in the hood.
Right.
So there was a code back in the hood. Okay? If you saw babies on deck, old people, you circle back around and you catch him slipping somewhere else, walking to the liquor store, whatever.
They were off
You
base.
just didn't shoot up
Right.
when you saw, but see, that's out the window now.
Right.
Okay? So I agree with you 100%, sir, and I think a lot of people are going to start to open their eyes, because starting today in 4 major cities, Chicago, Illinois, Los Angeles, California, Detroit, Michigan, Washington, D.C., the Biden administration have deployed their task force to combat illegal gun trafficking, illegal gun sales, and things of that nature.
Okay.
But also, I heard you talk about the town hall. Joe Biden clearly stated, he said more cops on the street is the answer to the violence.
I heard him.
So, again, Mr. Wyatt, I appreciate you letting me be on your show, being a caller and everything, and I appreciate you telling my audience what you're about. But you're on Facebook. I'm on Spotify doing the podcast thing. You're live on camera, showing your mug, with,
Right.
with the light blue polo hoodie,
Well,
with the
doing what we do.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't know if that's a studio, if that's a basement in your house.
My house.
Or is that one of your rooms in the east wing of your palatial estate in Florida? I don't know.
Well,
but
it's something like that.
it looks good.
Well,
It looks
thank you.
good.
Thank
It
you,
looks
Drop.
good.
I appreciate it.
So thank you for letting me call in, because I know you got other people. I know your show's short, but I just wanted to chime in once you got on topic, and I set it all up. So when I post this show, because I got to go do the editing and stuff. So when I post it, I'm going to send you a link, and you can do whatever you want to do with the link, but I don't know what to title this show yet. I've been thinking about it, but before I do, is it okay to put your logo in
Sure.
the description of my podcast?
Sure, brother. Whatever we can do to help or each other. I'm here for you. I've always said that, and hopefully you'll be there for me one day. Anybody that knows me know that's
bro.
what
I can't help you. I'm not, bro. I think you okay on your own.
It's a lot of work over here. I'm a work in progress, bro.
But if I can support your show in any way, I'm here.
Keep us on the West Coast strong.
Provide you some clips or something.
Yeah, keep us on the West Coast.
You know, I got them on deck because I don't know if you can hear this, but I think you can because it's our president, and it was when he was running for president. He made this comment when it was Barack Obama and Joe Biden running against Mitt Romney.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe Biden was campaigning at a black church. And he said this.
You put y'all back in chains.
You remember that, don't you?
I do. I do, man. But I'm going to leave that lane right for you. I promise you I know exactly what that shit is. And I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't my thing because, man, you know, we get enough people here locally that talk about that shit and never bring up the true, it's the elephant in the room that's never discussed, Drop.
Well, hopefully it will come up because my motto is, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
Absolutely.
So thank you for letting me be on your, thank you for taking my call, Mr. Wyatt. And you have a good weekend, sir.
Thank you.
Be safe in the streets and congratulations.
Thank you.
On the empty nest.
Oh yeah, right. I mean, I'm crying in one eye and I'm happy and I'm crying in both eyes. One is a sad cry and one is I can't wait for her ass to get out of here cry. So yeah.
All right, Mr. Wyatt and all your listeners, y'all have a good weekend.
You too. Drop
52.
Be safe out
science to anyone who wants to catch it. Peace.
I love it. Drop. Thanks, man. Drops from California. He do his thing. He is a guy that's going to push a lot of politics. And I appreciate him because he brings a whole different perspective to what everybody is saying in Cincinnati, to be honest with you. And he challenges folks, and he's not afraid to take that challenge. And where I respect the man is this. It's tough doing what we do. It's tough being the one that everybody look at and be like, bro, you a hater, you a coon. But it's sometimes hard to shove the truth down people. You know, sometimes you got to shove it down people's throat. And then when they don't, want to absorb it, then you just got to back off. And then we kind of got a lot in common because when we're trying to give people information, what happens is when people aren't ready to accept it or, receive it, what happens is something happens. I always tell y'all this. I always say something tragic has to happen for my point to get across. Some tragedy has to happen. And I hate to be that way, but it's somewhat the truth. Every time something happens, I can go back to one of the Wyatt-Live episodes and say, I've been saying this. I've been telling y'all. Like, let me give you a perfect example of what Drop is talking about when he says cash bail. No cash bail. Abolishing bail in California. I knew about this 5 years ago because I'm in the industry. And I had already known the movement towards getting rid of the bail system and what they were going to do. And what's crazy about this is it evolved into truth. It became true where legislation changed out there. They changed the bail system in California. I have two buddies that run companies out in California who were keeping me up on their bail reform that was going on in California. Now, let me ask you guys, has anybody, I know you don't watch a lot of Cincinnati news is not gonna give you California situations, but world news will. And I'm curious to know how many people are watching the shit that's going on in California and watching how the rules, how the court rules and how legislation has changed California to the point where people out there are walking in stores, snatching, grabbing shit, running out of Louis Vuitton stores, handfuls of shit because of what the laws are doing now. Under $950 is a misdemeanor. These people are running in stores, grabbing shit as if it don't even matter. Like, I ain't gonna get in no trouble. And when I get in trouble, soon as I get in trouble, I'm gonna go to jail for an hour or two, and then they gonna let me right out. And then I'll go to court in 3 months or 4 months whenever it's time for me to go to court. I don't know if this is happening where you live, but it's happening where I live. I know it's happening in Cincinnati. They're not snatching and grabbing like that. But that just started. Because the laws are now put in place to defend defenders, like, criminals. The laws are not on our side anymore, guys. I'm telling y'all. And what happens is it don't start everywhere at the same time. I told you it's just like music. It has its regions that it starts from, gets a feel for what the rhythm is, if people will like it, if it's working, and then it graduates to other areas. Well, California is where this one started. New York. And that's why I told you, I challenge anybody. It don't even take me to be in the bonding industry. It don't even take me to be an officer of the court to understand the laws that have changed and how they're working in the benefit of some of the criminals. Now, this don't mean that people that commit crimes don't eventually go to jail. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is some of the crime that's happening right now in Cincinnati, I don't have to go to Chicago, New York, or California to give you instances. I can just keep it home in Cincinnati. 3 of the shootings in Cincinnati, the last 3 that were up, because y'all don't know that there's tons of shootings in the city that you just don't hear about. There's tons of crime in the city. Has every homicide in the city of Cincinnati hit the news? You really think that? You think every homicide that has happened in your local city has been on the news? Shit happened at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning that you don't know nothing about. Some things happen in broad daylight that the news don't even get to. How I know all crime is not televised or given to the public is because when I go to court in the morning and there's 52 felonies based on 107 the night before, 107 felonies were not put on the news. So all crime does not go reported. It does on the books for I guess the police books and shit. But it has to be documented for court, right? But it's not in the massive media. It's not in front of us. We don't know everything that's going on out there, but I see it on my dockets every morning. I can see it. You might hear about the murder, but you don't hear about the felonious assaults. You don't hear about the person who got shot, who may have survived. That ain't juicy enough these days. The media want to put it out there like, if they didn't get shot, if they got shot but survived it, oh well, shit, that ain't bad. They survived that. That's cool. No big deal. But let me tell you why they're starting to talk more about it now. The reason why they're starting to talk about it more now is because these crimes, now y'all have to feel me on this. My brothers and sisters, please feel me on this. I'm not in business, or I'm not on here to try to convince you of something that's wrong or to highlight one race over the other race. But the truth of the matter is, the reason why they're starting to highlight these crimes now is because they're getting closer and closer. The same type of crimes that are going on in the inner cities, the same dudes that are committing the crimes in the inner cities are now starting to gravitate to some of the white areas. They're starting to gravitate to the cities that have moved the white people into the inner city, into these rehistoric buildings. And they ain't going for that shit. They're not going to let you mess up the new investment of the old town. So now it's starting to be national news. And see, the fake woke is trying to make it seem like the only reason why it's trying to be national is because they're trying to blame crime on Biden. No, crime is happening at a much faster pace right now, and younger people are doing it. And you're not going to Jedi mind trick me into believing that it's something different. It's at a higher pace, and it's moving fast, and it's coming right at us. And what we don't have is the same strict laws. And you got people, the chaos agents, who want to stand back and say, the reason that y'all want to look at what Joe Dieters and them doing in Cincinnati, they going after black people. They about to go after the black people. For argument's sake, let's say you're right. So shouldn't we tell little Tyrone, little Typey, and shouldn't we tell everybody what's going on? Shouldn't we tell our little nephews and the ones that's wild, wild western out here? Shouldn't we let them know, boy, they ain't playing with y'all? Shouldn't we? Shouldn't we let our little boys, shouldn't we let our little brothers know? Like, hey man, shit, the Feds trying to put, I think I was the only one that came on live last year when the Feds came into Cincinnati. When the Feds came to Cincinnati and dropped that 1.3 million, the first thing I did is I wrote down what they said. I said, oh, I got to pass this information on to my people, because I already know my chaos agents are going to say these new laws, and up in the time frame, they gonna point it out and they gonna say, you know, they just doing that for black people. So let's just, for the hell of it, let's just say you're right, bro. Let's say you're right. Let's just say your philosophy is right. Well, I'm gonna share the information that they doing, that they were given. Okay, 3 extra years on top of whatever you get county. They gonna give you 3 extra or 5 extra years fed. The federal government in Cincinnati is picking up cases, gun charges. We mad at Joe Dieters because he's saying and doing some shit that for real our local police chief should be saying. I'm gonna play a video and I'm gonna show you why I say what I say. Because in DC, see, I don't want to wait for the shit to graduate to Cincinnati. I don't want to wait for that, because if it's not dealt with in these other cities, it's a blueprint to spread around to other cities. That's the nature of how shit work. Nothing just falls on America at one time. It has to graduate and spread. And if we don't handle this crime shit the right way, if we don't address our problems within our own community, we're going to have bigger problems than you can imagine. And they're facing those problems in these other cities. DC is getting hit like crazy. I'm going to give you a hidden gem. One of the cities that's getting hit like crazy right now is St. Louis. And St. Louis is getting hit right now mainly because just the opposite of what everybody talking about in Cincinnati. When y'all get down on your prosecutor, which I'm not tripping. I don't defend him. I'm just trying to tell you what we need to be looking at as a whole. We get down on the prosecutor in Cincinnati because he say, hey, ain't no plea deals. And then you look at a prosecutor in St. Louis who dropping cases, who got murderers. They so sloppy with their work. They got murderers out on the streets. And they dropping the case because they ain't got no evidence no more that they had. You got people that's dropping the folders off, people that's resigning, people that don't want to have nothing to do with the cases, and you got murderers out here going free. Now, let me ask you this. Just so happens to be that the prosecutor is a female black woman in St. Louis. I'm not attacking her. These are things that are actually going on. But let me ask you this. Does it make a difference to you? I know people are going to cut me off for telling this truth. Hit the share. Maybe somebody that really want to know will hear this. Does it matter to you that these same young men that are being executed and murdered in St. Louis are black? You know, they had one of the boys' mother on television who said she was calling the prosecutor's office and wanted all the information on how they was treating this case. And the prosecutor told her, well, ma'am, I don't know. Can you tell me some information about what's going on? Because I don't know. Who wants, as a mother whose child's been murdered and there's a guy held in custody, who wants to call the prosecutor's office to get an update on the case? And the answer she gets is, ma'am, we don't really know. And then that guy gets released because the prosecutor's office dropped the ball. This is not just one time. This is 3 straight times that this happened. That's just not acceptable. That's not acceptable. Before I play the video, I want to take a phone call. Good evening. This is Wyatt. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, Wyatt, it's Black Russia. How are you?
Black Russia, what's good, man? How you feeling?
Hey, I'm feeling good for a Friday.
Good, bro. Enjoy the weather. I hear it's real nice right now in the Natty.
Yeah, the Natty might be on fire this weekend, bro. We got the Oscars and SWB in town, so people gonna be checking that out. I won't be at the concert, but I will be downtown, out and about, just checking out the scenery.
Okay.
So,
okay. Sounds fun.
I might check out the Reds. Hopefully, it's their convention on Sunday and don't rain.
Okay.
But I heard your conversation, and I know you might not be listening to everything going on, but, I caught an interview with Joe Dieters about 72 hours ago on one of the bigger stations here in Cincinnati. And he gave some information that I thought was like, wow, like, I wonder if black people are aware of this,
Okay.
right? So he was on another station, right? And he talked about all the shootings, homicides, felonious assaults, all that, right?
Okay.
Guess what the percentage of African Americans were victims?
What the victim rate was of African Americans of gun violence? Of gun violence?
Correct.
70% or better.
It was better than that. He said 91% was the stats in the prosecutor's office.
Okay, I believe it. I said 70% or better.
9 out of 10 gun victims in Cincinnati are black people.
Okay.
I say that because it's just one of those scenarios where we sit around and we ask about, well, not us, but some people ask, well, Black Lives Matter. Don't Black Lives Matter? Well, like, in Cincinnati, we had 91% gun victims being African American. And to me, that would be something, at least from my perspective, that should be alarming black Cincinnati. But
not if you're a chaos agent.
Mentioned that the fake woke don't want to talk about 91%.
Yeah, no. That day that you come out with stats like that, Black Russia, that's the day that we're gonna talk about they playing dominoes on the Olympic team this year. That's when that's when it becomes a non-topic. You understand what I'm saying? It's all about black people when it's about policies and tangibles and all the shit that we need to be getting. Yeah, all that shit. But when it's time to talk about what we need to do to get shit right for us, there's no conversation. I mean, you know what I'm saying? When we need to, I mean, how do you feel when you take your car to the dealership? Do you want to hear about all the, like other people's shit? Do you want to hear, oh yeah, Miss Johnson had her car in here and she had tires just like yours. But let me tell you about Miss Johnson's car. No, hell no. I want to know how I need to get my shit fixed. How do I need to stay out of Joe Dieter's way? What do we need to do to stay out of them courthouses? Let's not talk about what they doing to us when we get to the courthouse. Let's talk about what we need to do to stay out of the courthouse. Does that make sense?
To me, it does. A wise man told me that just because guns are in your community don't mean you got to pick them up.
Absolutely. Exactly.
And so, so for the rate to be 91% gun victims be African American, when I heard that, bro, I was just shocked by that. I guess I shouldn't have been, but 9 out of 10, it was like, damn, like only 1 out of 10 of anybody else who's not black is getting shot at. 10%, bro. I'm just like, wow. Can I get those odds, please? It's twice on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah. If I was betting, hey, come on, man. If you had to bet who was getting shot this weekend, you know which way your money would go. And I don't mean to say it in Cincinnati. I'm just saying, overall. I'm just saying, bro. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't understand where we at with this issue. I'm looking at Chicago. I'm going to play a clip as soon as I get off the phone with you. I hope that you stick around and watch this clip because it's the Chicago police chief who happens to be a brother who has been the police. He's been in Chicago. I'm not Chicago, pardon me, in D.C. He's a black man. He's the chief of police in D.C. and he's fed up. And what he has said, I want y'all to listen to this video, Black Russia, because this brother has said everything that we've been talking about on Wyatt-Live. And this is why I have to give this brother some praise, because no other police chief will say the things that this man is saying. Okay. And I've been asking, why don't they ask for accountability? And now I finally hear one. And it's kind of weird that I hear somebody actually talking like a human being and not a politician.
Right. Well, look, I ain't gonna take too much of the time. I want to hear the video clip too. I just wanted to point out to your audience. Look, Joe Dieters, the Hamilton County prosecutor, said 91% of gun victims in Hamilton County, black people.
I'll be honest with you, Black Russia. Like I said, I don't fight for Joe Dieters. I fight for what's right. 91 sounds high to me. Okay, I'm just being honest because
Sure.
I do see, I see more than the average eye in the court system. But when you narrow it down to Hamilton County,
His gunplay.
right, you got to it kind of makes sense because when you say Hamilton County, you're talking about greater Cincinnati area. You know what I mean, which would count more of the inner city. So that would be more like, okay, you're talking about, you're talking about a metropolitan city, which means you're going to have more inner city play when you're talking about a metropolitan city. That's just, of violence. Most violence happens in a certain area in metropolitan cities. That's just a fact. And I can see how it could be, I just think 91 is pretty high. To be honest with you, 91% is alarming.
It should alarm every African American in Hamilton County that the odds if somebody gets shot, 9 out of 10 of them, 90% chance is going to be a black person.
Now, let me ask you.
That's crazy.
You said I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you. I just want to understand this. Is it 91% of it being the victim or the perpetrator? Or is
the victims?
So 91% of the victims being shot in Hamilton County and Cincinnati are African Americans.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard Joe Dieters say out of the South.
Joe Dieters is the local prosecutor for those that may not know in Cincinnati, Ohio.
In Hamilton County, Ohio. Yeah.
Right, and he gets it hard. I mean, a lot of people in the black community don't like him, don't trust him, don't whatever. But
he just reelected.
I know, and that speaks volumes when you're talking about, we had Fanon Rucker on the show who ran against Joe Dieters, and the only thing that I ever said to Fanon Rucker on the show that I disagreed with was I just disagreed with the bond situation, and here we are dealing with these bond issues that I had problems with. A lot of people who don't even know that industry have a whole lot to say about the shit. From podcasts to radio shows, they don't have a clue about that shit. And I'm in it every day. And I know from Cincinnati to California what the issues are. I know what the real issue is, but I let them talk. It doesn't matter. I know what the real issue is. And like I said, Black Russia, in order for my points to get across sometimes, something dramatic, something tragic has to happen. You've had 3 young men shot and killed in the city of Cincinnati who were out on bond, and they were out with, one of them had a OR bond, which means he got out on his own signature. He got out on a gun charge, and he went back into his same neighborhood and picked up another gun. And while he was out with pending charges of a gun, he shoots a 6-year-old and an 8-year-old, a 19-year-old, and another 18-year-old. He picks up 4 assault charges. The 6-year-old, I believe, ended up making it. The 8-year-old is still fighting to be normal in life.
Just to be normal.
To be normal. You see what I'm saying? And we want to sit back and act like this shit, like it's a black or white thing. No, it's not. It's a criminal thing. It's a criminal thing. Stop blaming the punishers. Because Joe Dieters come out and say all this gunplay that's going on in the city of Cincinnati, no plea deals. Now, here's what happens. Those same chaos agents that got a problem with that shit, let something happen to your ass this weekend. Let you take a loss this weekend by that crime that's going on, and I guarantee you'll be singing a different tune come Sunday morning.
They're gonna be asking Joe Dieters for justice, bro.
Hey, they're gonna call 911, and then they gonna catch whoever get caught doing whatever got done to them. Then they gonna be asking the prosecutor, well, what you gonna do? I don't care if he's black. I know plenty of mothers. I didn't spoke to him, bro. This is what's creepy about this thing that I've adapted. What's creepy, and don't take that the wrong way. I mean, to me, it's creepy, disturbing that I can talk to mothers that have lost a child to another boy that was the same age or a little older or younger than the kid that killed their son. And none of them give a damn that little boy was black. They don't say nothing about, well, the black people this, the black, and the white people gonna send him to jail forever. They don't say none of that shit. They just want pure justice for their child. The color code goes straight out the window. It goes straight out the window. And I ain't going to be the one to tackle it with them because I'm trying to be sensitive to their situation. And it's just real, because I know it don't matter what color it is. But as a black community, if what Dieter said, 91% of the victims, is it victims? 91% of the victims are African American.
I look it up. Okay, so 91% of the shootings is black on black. Excuse me. That he's been able to track, because some of them don't have any suspects.
I got
but
you.
The ones he's been able to track.
Okay.
It's been 91% black on black. So I'll stand corrected on that. I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where those numbers and shit can be distorted. I got to be fair. I got to be fair.
Gotta be. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so what's the statistic of white people shooting white people? It's probably in the high 90s as well.
They shoot each other. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but do we really? Is that our conversation? I mean, because white folks are gonna shoot white folks because it all depends on who it's what circles you run in, and
right.
if I'm a black criminal and I'm doing my crime in black areas and doing what I'm doing amongst my people, chances are I'm gonna have some smoke with my people. If I'm a white criminal, chances are I'm gonna have some smoke with some white criminals. But see, that's where I draw the line when people say ain't no such thing as black on black crime. Yeah, it makes sense to you because you say there's white people doing things to white people and blacks doing things to black people. But if you really care so much about your people, why should that statistic of why should that ain't no such thing as black crime? Why should that matter to you? Why shouldn't it just be, hey, we need to get our shit together? It don't matter what they doing over there. Are you following me? You know what I'm saying? Why are you using what they doing over there as a crutch to make you feel better or act like our problem don't really exist? Because we don't talk about white on white crime. White people don't say a whole lot of shit about themselves. We say a whole lot of things. We put ourselves in several different boxes. Several different boxes when it comes to certain things. So sometimes we do it to ourselves and then have the nerve to turn around and be like, I can't believe they said that about us. Well, we came up with it.
Right. It's safe to say this, though, in Cincinnati, Wyatt, the super majority of shooting victims are black.
I believe it. That's not hard to believe at all. We're talking about metropolitan city of Cincinnati.
Correct.
Yes, that's not hard to believe at all. Every once in a while on the local news in Cincinnati, you'll see a white guy that got shot. But sometimes, locally, I think just recently there was a white guy that was killed by two black kids. It was on the news a day ago.
Was it a 19-year-old, 6-year-old?
Exactly.
Yeah,
So now that white guy falls in the category of what? Crime committed by a black person on a white person? See, this is some dumb shit to me. I believe the crime is all the same thing, but at the same time, if we're going to talk about our community, see, we can't just talk about our community when it's convenient for us. We got to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the smiles, everything. So if you're going to talk about it all, you got to be ready to tackle it all. If it's great, if we willing to open up Black Wall Street down on the banks, then we can talk about the economic beauty of Black Wall Street for blacks in the city. But if we got crime problems amongst each other, there's a civil war in the black community. I don't give a shit what nobody say. When I got my brothers looking at each other for owing each other money and they rather shoot each other, and that's a war. There's a street war going on. These dudes are not shooting each other because they stepped on each other's Jordans. These guys are shooting each other because this is they involved in criminal activity. Bottom line. And that's just what it is. So look, hey, Black Russia, I'm gonna play this video clip. I hope you stick around, bro. I'm gonna play this.
I will.
I'm gonna play this video clip of the DC police chief. Now, what I want you to do, please type in, if you can, Black Russia, I would appreciate it. Type in or give us your opinion of what would happen if our police chief said some shit like this.
Right. I will comment on the comments.
All right.
You have a great weekend. Okay.
I appreciate it. Be safe down there, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep my head on the swivel.
Yeah, and Black Russia, that stat of 91%. It's realistic to me. It sounds high, but I was prepared to hear a high number. 70% was.
That's black on black. I'll make sure I'm clear. It's not just black victims. It's black people shooting black people. So, like you said, it could be a high percentage of most white people shooting white people, but the reality is the majority of victims in Cincinnati are black people. So, that's what it's worth.
And to be honest with you, Black Russia, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you, bro. That is the reason why I move slow. This is the reason, I don't have any, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I'm not proud enough to say what I fear. You see, and one of the things I fear is being struck by a bullet that ain't meant for me. I fear being out in this traffic.
I'm kind of gonna keep my hand on the swivel down and watch the part, bro.
That's
You just don't know how people could act. Like Kanye said, drive slow, homie. If you don't know, homie.
Hey, all I'm saying to you, bro, is everything that you get may not be meant for you. You know, you know that you could be all biblical all you want. You got people that's like, oh, the Lord ain't gonna give you nothing that you can't handle. Shit. I mean, yeah, sometimes the Lord, I mean, he don't make mistakes, but sometimes people get a little bit, some shit that just ain't meant for them, man.
Right, and sometimes your day is just punched, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy.
All right, brother, have a good weekend.
All right, man, I'm going to play this.
I'm going to comment.
Yeah, I'm going to play this video. All right, bro, talk to you later. That's Black Russia, man, tuning in, always bringing in some good energy. 91%. Jeez, I believe it, but I'm sure white on white crime of white people being shot by white people, I'm sure that's a high percentage as well. But are we here? Are we having these conversations about, you know, I mean, I ain't gonna sugarcoat the shit, man. The bottom line is, are we hearing about white boys in the city of Cincinnati running around shooting at each other and 6-year-olds are getting hit in the crossfire? Bottom line, this Wyatt-Live, we can say what we want to say. People ain't gonna say that shit, but you know they think it. They ain't gonna say, oh yeah, white boys shoot shit too. They look at them, they go in Walmart and fire and do this, they do that. Yeah, absolutely. Crime is going to happen. But how can we be a people that talk about how people treat us and then we treat each other a certain way? How does that work? Greg Harris, pardon me, brother. Greg Harris says we both been in the country for over 400 years, but who is up and who is down as a race? Well, I think we all know the answer to that. If you want to hear my answer, because I'm the host, and I mean, it all depends on what you say, who's up. See, I see myself as an equal, bro. I hate to say it. I know a lot of people don't really see it that way, but I have never let somebody stop me from doing what I wanted to do in life. Nobody. No, somebody that looked like me, somebody that looked different than me. If I set my mind on doing something, if I get a no, I'll find another direction to go in to get to it. There's more than one path to get to your destination. I don't care what you do. You can go to the damn MapQuest on your phone. MapQuest the location. MapQuest from Cincinnati to Cleveland and see how many routes you get. It's more than one. It's more than two. It's probably going to be 3 or 4. There's several ways to get to Cleveland. Let's see here. Drop says I'm gonna need my glasses for this one, Drop. Jeez, pretty long. He says the vast majority, then we're gonna play this video after this. He says the vast majority, 77% of white gun deaths are suicides. Less than 1 in 5, 19% is homicide. These figures are nearly opposite in the black population, where only 14% of gun deaths are suicide, but 82% are homicides. And then he says, on homicides, black on black crime is real. Greg Harris says, we don't have our own country. We don't need our own country. Asians don't have their own country while they're here. Mexicans don't have their own country while they're here. Jews don't have their own country while they're here. I'm talking about people who have their own country on other land. I don't know if you felt me on that one. And most people, quite honestly, from my experience being in Europe, I didn't meet one European that was my age or younger that didn't want to come to America and live when I was there. They all wanted to be Americans. They all wanted to come to the land of the free. They all wanted to be part of what we do in America. Now, that don't mean when they got here, they was going to want to stay forever. I'm just telling you, being an American was something in their eyes is what they wanted to do. Go ask Cuba right now. Would you rather be in Cuba or America? They got their own country. Go ask the Mexicans. Greg Harris says, but whites do. You know what? The only reason why blacks don't have, listen, Greg, I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I feel you. I know where you're going. But let me explain something to you, bro. The only reason why black people don't have what we really want to have is because we just don't do it. You can't tell me that it can't be done. I'm watching Tyler Perry down there in Georgia put his own Hollywood together. Now, I'm not a Tyler Perry product fan. Okay, I'm not in love with his storytelling. I'm not in love with that. But his business hand, he's shown the entire black industry of movies how to do it. Tyler Perry has used soil from the from the United States of America, and he has done something that no other film producer or any film industry person in America has done. And this happens to be a white man, a black man. I call him the new Walt Disney, the black Walt Disney. Him buying that land down there and making a Hollywood bigger than Hollywood. Black people don't even appreciate that. They don't even understand that move. Now, you trying to tell me that man did all of that in a white America? He did all of that in white USA. A black man. If we want things like that, there's ways of getting it done. I'm tired of people talking about, but we don't get nothing. We don't do nothing. Well, I know plenty of brothers that got $1 million homes. It all depends on what we consider success. I hate to tell you this, Greg, we're not homeless. We're not, bro, I love it. I love your feedback. I'm not a homeless American. I know what you mean. Trust me. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I'm far from stupid. Okay, but let me just say this to you. I know what you mean, but you got to understand, bro, if you grow up an orphan, okay, I'm going to use this off the dome. If you were raised in a family that didn't birth you, and you were raised as an orphan, and you get adopted by a family, you truly don't have a home. Your birth parent and all that left you. But that don't mean you can't be productive when you're raised with a new family. A family that love you, a family that take care of you, a family that installs in you the do's and don'ts and how you can be productive. Man, you'll be surprised. These people end up that have been adopted and taken in by other families turn out to be great people and be very productive, and they don't have a home. The home base left them. So when people say, but black people don't have no home, our culture is gone. Well, let's just say this, bro. The culture that we have now, people will call me a coon for this, but I don't speak African. And I gave everybody on Wyatt-Live platform the other day, I gave everybody the price of a one-way ticket to Africa with a hotel, with the rates. If anybody feels that we can do better over there, shit, let's do it. But I don't see nobody standing in line at the airport. Y'all on y'all way to Miami. Everybody want to shake their ass in Miami. Everybody want to go down to the islands. Everybody want to go everywhere but to the motherland, right? To Africa. And I don't hear nobody talking about let's get our money up and go to Africa and do it. Because come on, bro. Do they really want us? Do Africans really want black American Africans? Let's be honest. Hell no, because we don't think like them. So what do you have to do? You have to adjust. This is the NFL. This is a pro game. This is an NFL game, bro. We down. It's halftime. We got millions now as a collective. We spend $3 trillion in this country's economic in the economic system of America. $3 trillion a year. But we don't have a country. Sure, we got a country. Sure we do. It's called the United States of America. We make it what we want to make it. I don't see Diddy and them buying out. I don't see them buying Georgia. I don't see Oprah Winfrey owning half of Texas. I don't see her owning half of Georgia. I don't see that shit. You talk about Negroes making money in Georgia, half of the mentality that we have, everybody want to talk about, well, shit, Magic City, shit, that's black owned, when it's not. You got to have proper information to make it in America. Greg Harris says it will always be white supremacy in America because it's their country. Okay. So let me ask you this, Greg, in fairness. So do you think that poor black people are in a slave mentality world being in America? Do you think that poor black people are enslaved in America because of economic situations? I think that's a fair question. Because I know a lot of white people that are in that same condition. They under the same slave to the rhythm because of economics. But this is their country. This is their country. I'm not, see, I'm a little bit past the they making us be fucked up out here. I'm past that because more black kids have graduated to become doctors, lawyers, physicians, whatever, math teachers, school teachers, owners of charter schools. There's so many people that are black in this country that are doing the same exact thing as white folks. There's no excuse for us to be able to say we can't do what they can do. Sorry. There's black prosecutors across this country. There's white prosecutors across this country. When they wrote the Constitution, did they write in the Constitution, did they write the Constitution against black people? Is that what you think? Or they just didn't include us in the Constitution? They didn't write the Constitution and say, well, you know what? Yeah, all right, well, the niggas, we're going to make sure in the Constitution is. No, when they wrote the Constitution, they were speaking in general for people. They just didn't consider us to be people. Let me see here. Mildred Johnson says, no Africans look down on us. No Africans look down on us and want to be here with us. Are you saying like no Africans look down on us? I think you're saying no, period. Africans look down on us and want to be here with us. I don't get that one, Mildred. Help me out. Help me out on that one. We came from our own country. Let me ask you this. Do Africans run Africa? Do Africans run the continent? Because, you know, Africa is a continent. It's not a country. Do Africans run the continent of Africa? Answer that one for me. Look, let me play this video. I'm not going to get into the four corners of things on Africa and how we are oppressed and how we can't do shit in America because we're black and it's their country. I ain't on that shit. I'm not on that shit. We got too many rich people. We got too many people enriched. We got too much economic in this country to even feel that way. And you got every, you know, black people act like white people don't struggle. They act like white people don't be down them hard ass jobs like we do. We all got different personalities. I understand. But shit, I'm in a position where I see how people struggle. White, black, purple, green, and blue, and all of us. The world is an economic melting pot. Everybody ain't ready for that. They don't want to hear that shit. Anyway, let me play this video. This is a video of how pissed off the DC mayor is of the crime that's going on in DC right now. Now, what DC is witnessing and going through right now is the same shit Chicago been going through for a little while now, for a long time. But I told you that if you don't handle shit, if you don't nip it in the bud, it'll travel to you. It'll get to you. It'll get close and close and close. Closer and closer and closer. So let me do this. I'm going to play this video. Hopefully it won't get tagged. We're running short on time, but I'm going to play this. And after the video, I'm going to make a couple comments. See you in a little bit.
Leave it there. We've got to go to the D.C. presser. Police chief speaking again.
Last night, 20 here on 14th Street and 14th at Riggs. We still are on the hunt for individuals that were responsible for this. And there's an up to a $10,000 reward for anyone who has information related to the shootings that occurred here last night. I just want to echo my comments. I've been talking to business owners along the way. I've been talking to residents along the way, and people are really mad as hell right now, and I don't blame them. I am too. That's the reality. And the other reality is, I think that people are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I think that people want to ensure that there is accountability for what's happening in our communities. When these individuals are caught, somebody, please look at those images. Look at that vehicle. If you recognize that vehicle or who was operating that vehicle, please call us 202-727-9099 or text us anonymously to 50411. I'll end my formal statement at this point and answer any questions that you might have for a minute. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
You're out here today, but the woman that spoke with you when you guys walked said she is shooting for her community often, and she's not seeing presence like we're seeing here today. What would you say to those folks and just people in general?
Yeah, what I said to that woman specifically was, she said 14th and Irving, and I said that we had officers there, part of our community focus patrol last night, and they recovered a gun from that individual in that community last night. And what I also said to her is that now it's our responsibility to watch that case. Let's see what happens with that case. Did that case get paper? What happens when it goes through the judicial system? How is that individual held accountable for his actions? Our officers were there in the community. Somebody brazenly fired shots in that community. A gun was taken off the street. An illegal firearm was taken off the street there. How do we hold that individual accountable? Next question. Yes, ma'am.
When the shooting happened last night, it responded very quickly within 5 seconds. But the individual shooting moments after the years, how does the department handle that?
We're going to do what we do. We're going to arrest people. We're going to lock them up. And what I'm asking is that the system, the ecosystem, our justice system, does its part in terms of making sure that these folks are held accountable. I'm asking community members, join with me. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, join with me. My voice is only but one voice, and I've been saying this for a long time. I've been in this city for 30 years. I've been in this city all my life, but I've been in this police department for over 30 years. This is the same movie. This is the same movie that when I was a boy growing up here, the same movie. When are we going to do something different? And what different looks like, what does not happen here is accountability. We're not ready. People are not ready to have that conversation. When I start talking about accountability, people start talking mass incarceration. I'm not talking about mass incarceration. I'm talking about holding people accountable who make our communities unsafe, who make it unsafe for you, for me, and for the people who were out here walking around, who made it unsafe for Nia Courtney over in Ward 8, who made it unsafe for the young man who lost his life over in Ward 7 last night. I'm talking about those individuals who brazenly use illegal firearms in our street. Another firearm recovered last night, 1100 block of S Street, moments before this. When are we going to be sick and tired of sick and tired? These voices need to be echoed beyond this space where I am. People who are responsible for making decisions, hey, call them up, let them know, send them an email, whatever it is. The mayor has supported me in what it is I'm trying to do here. She has said, hey, chief, whatever overtime you need, make sure that you use whatever it is you need. And I appreciate that from the mayor, but here's the thing, that does not solve all problems. The reality is we have a shrinking workforce. I have a definitive amount of resources, 200 and some officers less this year than what I had last year. With that being said, what am I going to do with these resources? I can't work these officers to death. I'm not going to have them out here making bad decisions, getting involved in use of force incidents. We need to make sure that we are a police department, a major city police department in the nation's capital, that we are properly staffed to where it is we need to be. I know that's a long answer, but that's the truth.
Chief, are calls to defund the police helping you?
This lady.
The White House is right up the block. How is it an issue that you don't have the resources? You don't see this going down where Biden living. You don't see them getting shot at, get shot.
Ma'am, I see it happen. Ma'am, I see it happening every place. Ma'am, in our city, we had over 922 people shot last year. That's shocking to the conscience of most people, because most people don't see that. I see it every day. 198 people lost their lives in our streets last year. With the White House, it may be close there, but I tell you what, where I see it popping up is where we start to see pain points for people, where it's happening, where people can't sit down or walk down the street with their kids. That's when people start to speak up about the issue. All I'm I'm doing is amplifying something that's been happening in this city my entire life. I've been here all my life. I grew up over in Carverters. Everybody over there know who I am. I know who they are, the good, the bad, and otherwise. And the one thing that I know about this city is if you don't hold people accountable for the things that they do, people will continue to engage in bad behavior. We're not holding people accountable.
Chief, wait over here. You said next. You said I was next. Chief. Hey, Chief, you said I was next.
Hold on. This gentleman here, then you.
Chief, are calls to defund the police helping you?
I don't think that those calls are helping right now. I mean, those are conversations. I don't fund the police department. Those are conversations that legislators and whoever else, I mean, you can really kind of point that to them.
Does it make you mad, though? Does it make you mad to defund the police?
Detection and arrest. There are cameras on every single building here. How is it not possible to find license plate to find these people in more timely manner?
Well, a lot of times individuals are operating in stolen cars. The second thing is, it's not a movie. Crimes aren't solved in 60 minutes like we see on the movie. It doesn't happen that way. The car is probably stolen, might not be, I don't know. It's part of the investigation. The key point is, when we do identify these individuals, let's think about the individuals who we locked up in 2020 during COVID that have not been through a judicial process. Where do you think those individuals are today? They're out in community. They're out in community right now. Individuals who have been locked up for violent crime, individuals who have been locked up with firearms, they're in our communities today. This gentleman here.
Tonight and this weekend is supposed to be another beautiful weekend if people want to get out. We saw what happened last weekend. What is your promise to folks out here who want to get out, who are scared about going?
I'm asking that people who are in the community, or not asking, but let's let folks know that our police officers will be out here. Every available resource that we have, we're putting out to community, to assist in community, not just with a visible patrol presence, but in addition to that, with the investigation. These cases, they have to be investigated. So our detectives are working hard. We continue to make progress on the cases that we've been dealing with, but I want the community to know that I stand by them, that I'm with them, and I'm asking the community to also be with me on this issue. My voice is one voice, but I'm asking for the community to help amplify what's really happening in our streets. One last question, Lou.
Yes, one of the merchants of the street thinks because of last night she able to fight drug dealers. Would you say what the cause was?
Lou, I wish I knew, but let me tell you something that I'm seeing. Since you asked the question about drug dealers, we have taken on a mindset that marijuana is not really a big issue in our city. I can tell you that marijuana undoubtedly is connected to violent crimes that we're seeing in our communities. When you have something where people get high reward, they can make a lot of money by selling illegal marijuana, and the risk is low, the risk for accountability is very low, that creates a very, 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 very bad situation, because those individuals get robbed, those individuals get shot at, those individuals get involved in disputes all across our city. I'm seeing it happen more and more all across our city in all different wards. Last year, we had a murder up in Ward 3, up on Western Avenue, tied to an illegal marijuana pop-up. Here recently, on North Capitol Street, we had another illegal marijuana place that somebody entered into with guns, duct taped somebody, and put a gun to somebody's head in there. Unlawful marijuana pop-ups, unlawful distribution of marijuana in communities, that is a bad recipe for disaster. And again, think about it. People, what's the risk for people? Is there a prosecution that's going to happen? Really? Is there a prosecution that's going to happen? For disaster. And again, think about
all right. I know it was pretty long, and I appreciate you guys sticking with me, but I think it needed to be said. I think that information that he said needed to be said. There's not a lot of police chiefs other than some of these aggressive cities that are going through this, and they've been going through it for months now. I wrote a couple notes, and then we're going to get out of here because I know y'all want to go party at 7 o'clock. But I wrote a few notes. And what's crazy is that he sounds not normal to a lot of people. He sounds like, I hear his frustration and I hear his pain. See, he's saying some things that a lot of police chiefs won't say, and he basically is holding the court system responsible. He clearly said, we as officers are doing our part. We will lock these guys up. Now let me see if we can keep up with the folders, the files. Let's see if these guys are going to get prosecuted the right way and things are going to happen and that they're not going to be right back out on the street. Let's see what happens. You ain't got to see, that's a soft way of saying it, but I respect him because he can't add friction within City Hall of his city. He can't do that. He can't just be like, all right, well, you know, me, the police chief. Can you imagine the police chief in Cincinnati and the prosecutor having beef? Can you imagine that? That's what this brother is trying to do. He's trying to prevent that. But he's telling the truth. Now, here's what's going on. The excuse factor, he gave him an out. The police chief just gave him an out by saying, we got COVID cases where people got released on violent crimes. I don't think there's an excuse of releasing gun violent people because of COVID. I think you need to handle the COVID situation in the prisons before you put, I mean, what's worse, COVID on the street or people with violent criminal situations back out on the street? I'll take my chances with COVID. I'll take my chances with the COVID. I can protect myself from COVID. I ain't too sure I can protect myself from a criminal who don't have no problem shooting or breaking in my house or doing some shit that I'm going to have to defend myself with. No, I'll defend myself from COVID versus a criminal. You can make bed space. You can get the DUI dude out of here or some shit. I'll take my chances on that. I ain't driving nowhere and going nowhere anyway. If he want a DUI, he can DUI on them COVID roads by itself. Everything's shut down anyway. The DUI guy ain't gonna break in my house. He ain't carrying no gun or he ain't gonna rob no store. And I don't even rock with DUI people. I'm just trying to tell you, like, I take the DUI out on the street versus somebody with some violent offenses, pending offenses. But the chief gave him an out. Well, we got people that's out on the street with gun charges and this and this and that, and they let them out because of COVID. He ain't lying. But at the same time, there's some getting out released on their same premises, but it's not COVID. They can't blame it on COVID. They would like to. They would like to, but they can't. Because there's been plenty of times where the Justice Center downtown in Cincinnati has been packed. Packed. And they do early release on nonviolent offenders. They'll find a bed for a murderer. They'll find a bed for somebody that's committed a serious crime. They'll find a bed for them. They'll start letting a few other people go. Oh, you only got 2 months left of your 6-month sentence. You can go ahead and go home. Happens all the time. I don't want to hear that shit about people got out because of COVID. Not a gun violent person. But are you feeling the police chief? Did he say something that they will be saying in Cincinnati soon? Because the way I look at it, the gun violence there, they have more of it in DC because the population is bigger. They have more of it, but I don't look at the amount versus the amount. I look at the how it's happening. I look at the familiarity of the crimes. That's what that's what puts me in shock value. That's what puts me in a position where I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. Same shit happening. Black man on his birthday gets shot in the head in the barbershop in Cincinnati, Ohio by another black man. Let's take the getting shot in the head by a black man out of it. Brother gets shot in the head in broad daylight in front of witnesses in Cincinnati. Sound like some Chicago shit to me. See, it ain't how many get shot in the head. It's the tactic. It's what's going on. The mentality is coming. And when the mentality starts to recruit then that mentality starts to build traction and build more. It'll build more people just like itself. It's a monster recruiting and drafting other people and forming them into monsters. If you don't get rid of the monster, the offsprings will be right there to get you. DC, Chicago, California, all those big city, metropolitan cities, Cleveland. I mean, these guys are now facing the monsters. They're not cutting off the heads of the monsters. I heard plenty out of that police chief when he said these people are not being held accountable. Who do you think he's talking about? We all know the criminal is who he's referring to, but who is he saying needs to hold these people? Who is he saying y'all need to hold these people accountable? Who the hell do you think he's talking to? He mentioned the community, but he's talking about that court system. He's talking about that court system. Oh, I know you don't feel me. Shit get real. I know. I already know. If you don't believe me, why don't you do some work on your own one time? Check out what's going on in St. Louis. Look at what the prosecutor, y'all love prosecute. You don't like aggressive prosecutors who say things like the crime is going to go up. You feel that's an attack on the black community. Then you would love the St. Louis prosecutor, happens to be a black woman. Go see how she's doing her job. Look at how shit is going in St. Louis right now. Do you blame her? Well, the police are in a position they have to go out and catch the criminals. They don't prosecute anybody and send them to jail. That's not how that works. The prosecutor is the one that go in there and try to send them to jail. The police officers are the ones that apprehend and make sure they stay locked up, right? I mean, I can't teach 101 of this bullshit. I'm just saying. My chaos agents love to make it the prosecutor's fault. I think you confuse what he prosecutes and what he don't prosecute. Because a white dude or a police officer may not go to jail for killing a black guy. Are you mad at that? Or are you mad because a black guy end up getting sentenced for killing a black guy? I'm not understanding. Maybe that's what you're arguing. Maybe that's the problem. Because I don't see anybody down there with signs when murderers were getting plea deals for killing black people. I don't see any of you down there in line with the signs and shit when a black murderer get off for killing somebody's 18-year-old son. I don't see any signs down there for shit like that. I only see my chaos agents when it's some black and white shit. So do you really care? Then you should have the same energy when a black person kill a black person if you really care so much about black people. Does it matter who kills a black person for you to really care that a black person got done wrong? Were y'all down there for Black Fox's son when he got murdered? Did anybody go down there and make sure that boy got what he was supposed to get? Hell no. If it was a white police officer or a white dude, you would have a microscope on how this shit gonna work out. So it sounds like selective care. You only care one way or the other, right? That's what it sounds like to me. It's pretty obvious. It's just news when the brother gets shot in the chair at the barbershop on his birthday. It's just some cold-blooded ass news. We got an APB out on an African-American male, light skin, blue shirt. I'm sorry, blue pants, white shirt, light skin, mid-30s. How many of us fit that description that day? And we want to run around here talking about the police pulling us over for nothing and shit. And they got APBs out for 91% of what's going on in our neighborhood. Make this shit make sense to me. You more mad at the police than you mad at the people that's creating the conflict, the problems. This is not popular talk. Real shit is not popular. We live in a entertainment world. We live in a world where as long as we can I don't know, what do you want to call it, guys? What do we want to call it? As long as we can comfort our feelings, then we're open to believe anything. We're acceptive and open to believe anything. And I'm going to tell you something, whether you like what I'm saying or not, here goes some real truth for you, and we're going to get out of here. I'm going to let everybody have this great weekend without ending on a bad note. So I got to say some shit, and then I'm going to say some more shit that might help clean up my bad shit that I'm about to say. But stop blaming Joe Dieters because they upping the penalty, because that's the government coming in saying, fuck that. We gave y'all 1.3. We getting these guns off the street. These people that want to play with guns, we getting that shit off the street. Okay? We gave you the 1.3 for us to be here. Now here's what's going to happen. Take plea deals off of the table because they ain't listening. You're mad at them for that. When in fact, when the feds came into Cincinnati, nobody paid them any fucking attention. Nobody paid attention. Nobody was like, oh shit, we better get our shit together. Big brother here watching us, man. And I'm going to tell you, if we get caught with these guns and shit, it didn't stop nothing. I got a question. Would you have said the same thing? Oh, this ain't nothing but for black people, if the police chief would have said it in Cincinnati, who happens to be black? Would you have matched him with that same energy? Did the black police chief in Cincinnati oppose what Joe Dieters said? Did the mayor oppose it? They opposed the stop and frisk. They opposed that, right? They was like, oh, no, that shit ain't gonna never happen again. I'm cool with that. I don't want stop and frisk. That's very unconstitutional. I wouldn't want that shit. But at the same time, I don't hear them saying anything out loud about, well, you know, they said, don't say that they're going to say some things out loud and some things not, because it don't work that way. Joe Dieters made a comment about stop and frisk. Both the mayor and the Cincinnati police chief both said, we don't think that's a good idea. That probably won't happen. Did they say that about, did they say that about no plea deals? They had an opportunity to. I think they agree with it. I think they understand, to get the element off the street, to clean up what's going on in our city, you have to get that element off the street. And I think they understand that. So no plea deals. And my cynical black folks, stop talking about that's for us. That's for us. They ain't doing nothing but trying to lock black people up. Come on, man. Come on, bro. We can't take that energy to a different playground. Can't we make it make sense? Come on now. Stop. We bombarded and we done flooded ourselves with energy of unuseful energy. Craziness. So what we gonna do? We gonna sit back and wait to be the next Washington, D.C.? We're gonna sit back and be the next Chicago? We're gonna sit back and be the next what? Where else is it going crazy? California, somewhere in the city, a city in California? We gonna wait and sit back and be that? Or do we want to be proactive and let people know before it's too late? Hey, they ain't giving out no plea deals. You better tell little Ray punk ass. You better tell little stanky punk ass what's going on. They ain't playing with y'all out here. But see, here's the problem. They don't care. Stanky and them don't fucking care. They ain't listening to this show. They ain't listening to Joe Dieters. They ain't listening to your talk radio or podcast because they don't care. Why do you care so much? Let me read this one from Justin. Justin Sharp, what's up, bro? He always give us good energy. Watch this one, Justin. I read the first line while I was talking. I got an answer for this. Government weed too high. They should have made it cheaper so the street weed ain't worth buying, and the drug dealers wouldn't deal it because it wouldn't be worth it. But they greedy. No, Justin, I'm about to tell you something, bro. Everything that you tax will always be more expensive than the black market. If they would have made it, if they would have, I mean, everything that's taxed is going to be more expensive no matter what their price tag is. Now, I ain't going to sit up here and do no numbers over the air. I ain't about to be all 100. I ain't about to do that shit. But I will say this to you. All you got to do is go look at, let me see. Go to Chicago, not Chicago, pardon me. Go to Colorado and look at how that shit's working. Weed is only legal in the state, but it's still against federal law. So they got all this alternative way of living out there, alternative banking, alternative everything. That shit costs. It costs money to have alternative situations. That's state money, not federal money of taxing. So if you're paying $100 an ounce for some weed, I'm just going to use round numbers. Well, the state is going to get their state tax. So that's going to make it more expensive. The underground will always be less expensive. It's not a matter of one people being greedy or more greedy than the other. It's not that at all. Black market causes friction. Black market will always be cheaper. Black market also comes with a dark side, a criminality. Criminals indulge in the black market. You just heard the chief of police just talk about what's going on in DC with marijuana. Now, y'all can legalize it if you want to, but I've done study on Colorado and the shit is not working out. Crime is what it is. You're always going to get people that's getting robbed. There's always going to be a black underworld. There's always going to be a black market. There's a black market of everything that they have done. It was like that when Prohibition started. There was black market alcohol, right? And then when it became legal, they still had a black market trade, which was cheaper than what the government was selling, right? Still crime and shit was going on through the alcohol trade. So Justin says this, he said, I understand all that, but the fight illegal dealing of weed, that's the only solution. You got to understand. Even if you got to understand, bro, like in DC, the sale of weed is damn near legal. They're not fighting people selling weed. They're fighting the crime amongst the dealers. He said it in that interview. I didn't play it all the way out, but I know what's going on. If you got two dope dealers that's selling weed, they have conflict. They're fighting for territory. They fighting because one cutting each other price. They doing all this old street shit, even with it being legal. Because here, it's not really legal, but you're not going to be penalized up to a certain amount of grams and, ounces and shit. But that ain't going to stop the criminal element amongst that circle. You get what I'm saying, bro? They're not chasing weed boys. They're not chasing that. They chasing the weed guys that's fighting each other, shooting at each other, and the crime and the crossfires that's hitting the babies and shit out here. That's what they're fighting. They ain't chasing a nigga down the street for an ounce of weed, bro. That ain't what it is. They fighting the dudes that's fighting amongst each other. They trying to solve murders and crimes. When there's a crossfire, it could be over cocaine, it could be over weed. It's all the same shit. They're not chasing a dude that got an ounce of weed down the street because it ain't nothing but paperwork. It's a misdemeanor. Ain't nothing gonna happen. He even said it in that interview. He said, man, the dope dealers know exactly how to weigh they shit out. He didn't say it like that, but he was like, they know how to weigh it out where if they get caught with this amount, it's nothing but a ticket. They're not going to get in trouble. But what's happening is them guys weighing it out and they getting their door kicked in, not by the police, but by stick-up boys. Not by the police, but by guys that's coming in to rob them. And then here they go. They get to popping it off. And then they get to having some problems and they take it to the streets. And it causes friction and fraction out in the streets. You missing it, bro. You're not understanding it, Justin. You got to understand the logistics of how business works. If there's no cost of doing, you listen. All right, let me read your comment. You said, right. If the legal store weed cheap, the black market dealers ain't going to be buying 100 pounds of some shit they can't sell. Bro, they always going to have the same shit for cheaper money. Don't you understand that? The same ones that got the weed in the stores, no matter how cheap you are at the stores, niggas can get the same shit and sell it for half because they ain't got to pay taxes or nothing. They gonna grow the same shit that you got. They gonna do, bro, we about to make this that kind of show. We about to go there. I'm about to try to show y'all how this stealing shit, this game shit work. Black market will always do better than legal business if you got the same shit. That's all I'm saying, bro. I don't want to do book and crook 101 on here. I don't want to do that. But I'm just being honest with you. There's no way in the world that legalizing the legal weed owners and legal weed people are going to be able to keep up with the underground world. Go look at Colorado. All you got to do is look at Colorado. They got stores up. They got stores out there selling this shit, and you can still buy some weed on the street. Now, why is that possible? Now, I can't answer that, what you're talking about. You ain't incriminating me. I don't know what's going on the streets. I'm just guessing on the shit I'm saying now. It kind of makes sense, so let's just say that. He said, yeah, this shit too high on the streets too. Hey, I don't know. Honestly, on my grandmother's grave, I don't know what any of it is. I just made a round number. I don't know. But I do know the economics. I do know how black market and underground shit work. And I know that the black market will always rule when it comes down to that shit. But let's say this. There's a consequence of dealing in the black market. There's a huge consequence. And that huge consequence is robbery, boys. Stepping on somebody's toes, being in their area. There's just too many consequences that come along with that shit. Not to mention, they getting snitched on by competitors. All of that, bro. All of that. Anyway, man, it's Friday. Everybody have a great weekend, man. Enjoy your weekend, man. This is Wyatt. I am out. I don't even feel like it no more, bro. I really don't. I really don't. I appreciate everybody being here, all 4 of you. Now we got a few more. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate you. See you guys Monday. Let's see. What time Monday? 5 o'clock on Monday, man. Let's get it. I'll talk to you. See you Monday at 5. Enjoy yourself this weekend. Be safe out there. Be safe.
fingers with his food. Caulking not sagging, Timbo's dragging, frontin' in his ride with his homeboys bragging. Ryan brought the light how he knocked the boots last night, but he's a roughneck, so that's alright. Triple O Bull D under the hood, making noise with the boys, something not good. CEO on the down low, cops come around so roughneck front like he gotta go. Evil grin with a mouth full of gold teeth, starting beef is how he spells relief. Acting like he don't care, but all I gotta do is beef. I'm not one and he'll be there right by my side with his roughneck tactics, roughneck attitude, the roughneck bastard, roughneck bastard, roughneck bastard. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get it roughneck. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. Get it right, yo, gotta get it roughneck. I need it in the morning, so I gotta get it roughneck. I need a man that's quick and swift to put out the slip and get stiff. Boxer shorts, everything is fitting large, but he ain't gotta be large to be in charge. Jumping in and out and out and in and here we go. He knows exactly how I want my flow and that's slow. Never questioning, can it get buck wild? You gotta smack it, make it swallow it in style. And drink a beer, sitting in his chair, hands in his pants, fiddling with his tears. He's a rude boy, a ragamuff, ready to bag another brother that he ranks not rough enough. Cause if it ain't rough, it ain't right. And if he ain't right with it, he's all war for the light. I love my roughneck and ain't nothing going down. I'm going up if my roughneck ain't in town.